Hello my guys, it's WildHeart and welcome back to our new video. Today I've got a selection of the most hated champions in League of Legends. However, it will not be just a selection of the champions, but also the counterplays you can use against those champions, so you can get rid of them in your games. In case you're actually aiming to become one of those hated guys, no worries, I've got your back too. And the first guest on the list is Darius, which opens our top 10. Well, I don't even know who Darius is anymore, top laner or jungler. Well, let's consider him both. He's an extremely tough opponent to land against if you're playing a melee 1v1 champion. Doesn't really matter if you stay on top and trade or fight him for a Skullcrow. The worst thing is, even if you call your jungler to help you kill him, it's always a risk, as he is one of those guys who has a great potential in winning a 1v2 fight if the gank wasn't executed well. That mainly happens due to his Q, which has increased healing the more targets he hits, especially if he kites you and the jungler in order to buy the precious time for his Q to come back up, so he can use it twice. As I mentioned earlier, he's an exceptionally good champion against melees, but it's very vulnerable against those who can kite him and maintain high distance, like Aurora, Queen, and Teemo for top lane, and Karthus or Kindred in the jungle. Moving to rank 9, guess who we got there? I would assume that many of you would expect to see the champion on the list due to how oppressive he sometimes becomes. Alright, in order to avoid creating any unnecessary riddles, welcome Yone, the Unforgotten. There are many reasons I added him to the list, and this one was a complete no-brainer for me. First, why do we have this little bro added to the game when we already have Yasuo, whereas he only has minor differences from Yasuo Kid? On the bright side, it's a really solid flex pick for top and mid, while also an okay pick for ADC. I never call him a broken champion given his current state. However, when he gets fed, he becomes a really difficult champion to deal with, especially if piloted correctly. In order to counterplay Yone, I have a few things I'd recommend. First, when you see a Yone drafted on the enemy team, try to pick CC champions, as he usually never builds mercs, as he doesn't pick runes that help him survive through CC, like unflinching. Another thing you should keep in mind is your positioning. Try to avoid stacking in the same place so he cannot combo you and your allies with Q2 and R. Do not chase Yone when he uses his spirit form, as eventually he will return to the point where he cast it, so that you can prepare the worst possible outcome for him. The best champions to fight him on top lane would be Irelia, Cannon, and Heimerdinger, while in mid lane he suffers the most against Corki, Diana, and Vex. Rank 8 is captured by the Spider Room. I want to clarify that I do not have anything against Elise as a jungler, but Elise as support is a completely different breed. I genuinely feel bad for ADCs who have to play against her on the enemy team. Elise has probably the highest and the quickest burst damage a support can offer in Season 15. On top of that, she can offer one of the best dive tools out there, since she can tank 2-3 tower hits, repel out, and pretend like nothing happened, while the tower aggro gets dropped. Flexible to both jungle and support. Very solid first pick. She's really strong if she is the only AP pick on the team, and the enemy team doesn't build MR. What Elise really struggles with is dealing with beefy boys and those who stack MR, hence she cannot really one-shot them. If you're one of those mentioned above, just pay attention when you're walking next to bushes, as Elise will usually wait for you around there. For the support role, I would mainly recommend Tamkinch because he is too tanky to be one-shotted by Elise combo, or Zyra, since it's very difficult to hit her with Cocoon due to her plants, whereas she outranges you. Who the fuck is that? This abomination can be anything. You're a top laner, support, red buff, or a ward. Neeko is one of those champions that you don't really feel any difference having them on your team, but once she happens to be on the enemy team, you need to count literally every single minion in each wave that approaches you, so you don't end up getting ambushed. She's also really annoying to deal with in bot lane, if paired with a poke type ADC like Varus, Jhin, or Ezreal. In order to neutralize the champion, the best answer would be to pick something that sustains the poke and slowly outscales, or can trade even better, like Sona or Needle support. Rank 6 we got Mr. Mime's cousin, the one who always has his 2 daggers ready for you. Shaco can get the fastest level 3 in the game and already be ganking your lane while your jungler is about to finish their second camp. Does it annoy me? Yes. Do I hate playing against Shaco? Absolutely. I would even permaban this champion just to avoid playing against him, though my bans are usually aimed at something even more annoying. He is also really good at babysitting the lane he wants the most. Shaco has fairly slow clear. Let's say he did the gank while you're respawning or returning to lane, he clears 1 or 2 camps and coming right back. Then he recalls and builds his road around your lane again. Some good Shaco mains master the champion so well that it becomes really difficult to find out which is the real one and which is a clone. Come on, be real. Haven't you ever ulted a Shaco clone or used a long cooldown spell like Blitz Hook on it? Tell me your worst Shaco clone fails in the comment section below. Counterplay. Bring Oracle Lens or Umbreglaive to reveal boxes and track him while stealth, or play a champion with damage over time spells that reveal him when he is invisible. This guy always says fuck you whenever you survive with 10% HP. You think you're safe, barely made it out, and then boom, out, you're dead. You play him, he dies, you walk away, but not really. That kind of feels like a scam. You're minding your own business in bot lane, and suddenly you are deleted by some ghost in the jungle who hasn't even appeared all the game. He'll be power farming jungle for 15 minutes, barely touching any lanes, and then get a dribble kill with 1 R out of nowhere. When I get traumatized by a Karthus game, I start banning him at least until I find someone even more annoying. Invade early with champs like Nidalee, Listen, or Kindred. Build Banshees, Edge of Night, or Zonies to survive the ult. Use champs with strong defensive tools, Janna, Soraka, Tankens, or damage dodgers like Freeze, Severe, Nocturne, or Braum. Dogbeak can literally smell you. Imagine you're low HP, recoil under turret, and suddenly a gigantic dog pounces at you at supersonic speed. Warwick just ran across half the map like a blood-fueled missile and deleted you under tower. Or let's say you're laning against him top. You finally win a trade, he's at 20% HP, and seconds later, he is full again without recalling or using potions. His damage reduction on E is already annoying, and then his AoE fears your entire team just for trying to kill him. He is also way too easy for how effective he is, and you player with locked camera can play him and still do well. Counterplay, top. Big range champions like Vayne, Teemo, or Quinn. Jungle, Zyra, Talia, or Karthus are the best picks here. And always bring anti-heal. The first guess in our top 3 is the guy famous for being a 1v9 monster on the enemy team, and the 0-10 power spiking legend on yours. And now you probably hate me for not putting him at number 1. Yasuo's entire kit encourages constant aggression, not because it's smart, but because he can. His passive gives him a shield, his E backs you to dash into 5 enemies, and his crit scaling is just illegal. 2 items, 100% crit chance. Seriously? But here's the thing, if you let him get ahead, he can take over the game. For top lane, Jax, Renekton, and Sett would be the best champions to draft. For mid lane, it's Kennen, Irelia, and Malzahar. And for bot lane, it's Nyla, Corki, and Karthus. Sliding into number 2 is Teemo, the walking shroom. Teemo isn't strong, he's just annoying as hell. He doesn't even try to win the game, he just wants to make sure you don't either. It also feels like the champion just isn't designed to be strong enough to be somewhat impactful to win the game, rather than to neutralize you, so while he is going to be useless in the mid game, you're going to be useless too. However, in late game, Teemo becomes a goddamn monster. The cooldown on shrooms becomes fairly low, while the damage becomes high, especially if you're playing some squishy champion with no MR. He's paying DS for any champion whose damage is built around auto-attacking or auto-attack resets, so if you happen to play champions like Jax or Renekton, this tank can be very annoying. Also, Oracle is a really great tool to deal with Teemo, as it reveals both the champion and his shrooms. If you're playing a champion who scales off AD, and specifically lethality stat, consider getting Umberglaive against Teemo, as shrooms can be one-shotted with Umberglaive, as well as other traps like Jhin E, Shaco's boxes, and Nidalee W. In case if you're in champion selection now, as you watch this video and you don't know what to pick against Teemo, try to pick champions like Malphite with Arcane Comet in runes and Qmax. Cassio or Ryze, as rules against Teemo are very simple. No auto attacks mean no problems. Of course, the most hated champion on my list is Yuumi. Honestly, I can speak for hours about how annoying this champion is and why I hate it, but I will shorten it to only a few key reasons. Yuumi, the champion, forces the ADC to play the lane passively in almost every possible matchup, and while it's easy to do with ADCs like Sivir, the short-range ADCs like Kai'Sa or Vayne or even mages might have a very tough laning phase given how weak Yuumi is in a 2 vs 2 lane paired with those champions. I remember back in 2019 when Yuumi was released, the first few days people thought it was shit champion, and when they figured how to play and what to build, she became the strongest champion on the Rift for the next 6 months. Afterwards, people discovered the most disgusting combo of bot lane ever seen of Garen and Yuumi, and this combo was basically unkillable and could lane against everything, while passively outscaling the opponent. When you're playing an ADC, it often feels like Yuumi is just AFK. Literally, they don't even press E while the enemy bot lane is hitting you. How is that even fair? To finalize my hate on Yuumi, I feel that this champion has too little of a skill expression that if you put Silver Yuumi main and let's say Grandmaster Yuumi main, you probably will see little to no difference in their gameplay. Clearly, there will be some small things that you would notice, but tell me another champion in League of Legends that would look that similar while piloted by Silver and GM players respectively. If you want to try your luck and win the game quickly, you can pick Pantheon or Elise support. However, if you expect the game to be long, it's better to pick traditional CC supports like Alistar or Leona, or just killing monster like Sona. Don't forget to buy anti-heals and Serpent's Fang against her, as she does both heals and shields. If you enjoyed this video, help me out by subscribing and dropping a comment to boost the algorithm. And if you're looking for a League of Legends coach, you can book a session with me via MetaFi. Thanks for watching, I'll catch you in the next one.